Welcome, makers of good trouble worldwide. Kathy Murphy's beloved family, dearest of friends, dedicated and fun-loving colleagues, especially in Hawaii. We gather into a community of love and gratitude for you, Kathy Murphy. Kath, you left us far too soon, but with smiling memories on our faces. You probably hate being called out in the spotlight like this. You always lifted the rest of us above yourself. But come, Kathy, come sit beside us as we recall each in our own ways who you are to us. Kath, I'm your friend, Holly Elisa Bruno. I love you. And my heart aches that you're gone. You and I spoke for the last time, perhaps a month ago. We spoke of hope. Some things are difficult here, you said. Nothing we can't deal with, you said. You always do, Kath. I smiled. You asked, can you meet with us virtually to remind us of hope in hard times? Can you bring us some humor? Sure, I said. Who could say no to you, Kathy Murphy? Who could say no to our upbeat, loving, fiercely dedicated, in-your-face, no-nonsense friend with attitude who devoted her life to making a difference for children and for our early childhood profession? Saying yes to you, Kathy Murphy, is saying yes to the light, especially in the darkest of times. Let us offer you now, Kath, one quiet moment together as speakers from around the world gather to love on you. Let us take a moment for Kathy.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me, you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. There are much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I'm
Gwen Simmons. I'm Senior Director of Affiliate Relations at NAEYC. And on behalf of NAEYC, Hawaii AEYC, and affiliate leaders from across the country and Kathy's family, thank you for sharing this time with all. A special thank you to Brian Chi, Mike Fahey, Troy Gerald, and Alexandria Domingo for their guidance and contributions to this tribute for Kathy. These leaders, Hawaii AEYC's Board of Directors, both past and current, have been extraordinary. Here's an excerpt from their recent message to members about Kathy. Kathy was the heart and soul of Hawaii AEYC, and she devoted her life to making things better for young children and their families, and early childhood educators who provide loving, supportive, and stimulating relationships and environments for them. Her loss is being felt across the NAEYC network, where she was well known and loved. I think the evidence is here, right? I was trying to recall when I first met Kathy. Likely it was at an NAEYC conference in the mid-1990s. I would have received a warm aloha, a hug, and some delicious candy from Hawaii. Like many of us, I've known and worked with Kathy for nearly 20 years, and the proof of our relationship are the 750 emails in my inbox from Kathy. Kathy pushed us, made us uncomfortable at times, and yet she was kind, supportive, and most of all, fun to be with. Kathy, we know you are here with us, berating us for making a fuss. But friend, remember that today is just as much for us as it is for you. It's been bittersweet hearing from colleagues and friends of Kathy in preparation for today. Here are some of their words. A fierce advocate, friend, a force of nature, trusted colleague, laughter, and tenderness. I have some more words to share. We connected several years ago at NAEYC and always made a point to get together to catch up. I had the pleasure of meeting Catherine. She was sweet, kind, and full of energy. I enjoyed every encounter with her. It's a sad day indeed when we lose someone who supported the early childhood community as she did. I was glad to have met her in DC at the Equity Summit. We laughed and shared support about how our boards were so similar. I love the times Kathy and I got to talk one-on-one about our work, from old Whistling days to the Policy Forum last year. She will be missed. Prayers for peace and comfort to her family and colleagues in Hawaii and beyond. And finally, I simply have no words. Kathy embodied the very definition of a mentor and had the innate ability to find, nurture, nudge, and support emerging leaders. Her leadership ran deep and consistent. Kathy, we are saddened by the loss of you as a friend and colleague, family member. I pledge to honor your legacy through mentorship, advocacy, and friendship. And I trust that as the cloud of sadness lifts, we will all be stronger and even more dedicated to our shared work. Mahalo, friend.
My name's Kimberly Tice. I'm the Executive Director with Ohio AEYC and a colleague of Kathy's for many years. Gwen reached out to a number of you who wanted to share a brief story or memory of Kathy. So I will call on you by name, and if you could unmute, like I didn't, and we'll take a time for you to share your comments. Please also know you can enter any comments you would like, memories in the chat box, and when we're finished with those who were scheduled to speak, if you feel moved to speak, you'll be able to do so at that time. So first, Karen Hughes, would you share your story?
Hello everyone. You know, during my work at NAYC with the affiliates, one of the things that I cherished the most was my relationship with the affiliate staff. And during those years, it was a fairly small group of people that actually were staff at the affiliates. But over the years, through many board meetings, conference calls, affiliate council meetings, I came to know Kathy very well. She was a strong and stable force for early professionals in the state of Hawaii. You know, I enjoyed our many cocktail meetings to discuss, or in many times cuss, reaffiliation. The drinks grew larger and stronger as that process developed. But she was a terrific advocate for what was happening in Hawaii. She was also a terrific host when I had the chance to visit the great state of Hawaii. And like Gwen said, she always came with a wonderful spirit and also gifts, bearing gifts. Not only was she a force, she was also a really fun person. You know, today we find ourselves in very, very challenging times in this country and also in the early childhood profession. I don't know what the future is going to hold for all of us, but what I do know is what I intend to fight for. And so in Kathy's memory, I just implore all of us to continue the fight for children and families all over this country.
Thank you, Karen. Adele Robinson.
Oh, it's so good to see all your faces, really. It's too bad this brought us together. I'm going to tell a little story about Kathy. You all know she was a devoted advocate, but I don't know if you know the lengths that Kathy would go to. And so I want to remind you of a story, something Kathy told me, that when she and Mazie Hirono, who was then Lieutenant Governor in Hawaii, later to become a US Senator, were on a panel together, something was said. And Kathy pinched the Lieutenant Governor, now US Senator. I remember the shock in my face, but they were still meeting. And I kept thinking to myself, well, that took a lot of guts. And that, I think, was Kathy. She was going to do whatever it took and take no prisoners. And she continued to hold Mazie Hirono's feet to the fire as a US Senator, as well as the rest of the delegation. And while I would never recommend in an advocacy training touching an elected official, I do think it was her willingness to take risks and to really put herself out there that defined Kathy for all of us.
That's beautiful, Adele. Thank you. Lanny, are you able to take yourself off mute and share?
Good morning, everybody. I've known Kathy for over 25 years. We met when she was a costume teacher at St. Clement's, and we shared so much over the years, and the thing that kept coming back was our focus on children. When my son was 4 at a HAYC meeting, he told everybody in the room that he was tired of his mom going to meetings, and Kathy asked me to get off the committee and come back when he was older.
Oh.
When they were cleaning out her office, they found a picture of his graduation picture on his wall, on her wall. That was our communication. She gave me that gift, and she treasured it. During all this time, Kathy and I often were in times that were hard. There were times that were stressful. There were times that we were just pissed off at so many people. And she would call me and say, I need a kid fix. And I would walk outside on my playground with my phone and turn it on FaceTime and show her my kids. I would send her newsletters. Then I was very proud of my teachers, and she would ask clarifying questions because she loved seeing what was happening with the kids. One of the very last conversations I had with Kathy is burned in my memory. She felt bad. She felt bad that she wasn't in the classroom with me, with children through this pandemic. She felt like she wasn't doing enough. She felt like she wished she could do more. And I just want to say I hope she really knows how much she did. She provided comfort, she provided support to me as I struggled, to my peers and my friends. And to quote one of a very smart person, we are so pissed that she's gone because we weren't done with her yet.
We're not done.
Love you, Kathy. I miss you.
Thank you for sharing that story of friendship. Rian.
Kim, can you hear me okay? I'm having some internet issues.
We can hear you just fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's, as Adele said, so wonderful to see so many faces, and I'm sorry that it's under these circumstances. Kathy, we've shared already so many instances of Kathy's fierce advocacy, and I'm pretty sure she attended every single public policy forum, which for us flying from Hawaii to Washington is equivalent to, you know, me flying to Germany, I think. And so the lengths to which she went to be a passionate advocate on behalf of children and always be present in those advocacy forums, and her fierce, unwavering ability to not back down had a tremendous impact, I think, on the entire community. But I also want to mention the really important role that Kathy played in being an internal advocate within NACCE. In addition to the policy work that she did, you know, we went through the affiliate restructuring together, and Kathy's tenacity to absolutely ensure that the smaller affiliates and in the case of Hawaii, the affiliates that were further from Washington had the same considerations around equity and inclusion and were part of the system that we were building was important. It went to even the graphic design and the look of the Hawaii logo and how the way we use the symbols in the word Hawaii and how important that was and how we didn't lose that in our approach to kind of rebrand and have our affiliates be part of a whole. Also with accreditation, I'm not sure if I had 750, Gwen, but I had a lot of emails. I've had a lot of emails over the years from Kathy on ways the accreditation system in some instances was working for children in Hawaii, and in other ways was getting in the way, quite frankly. And so her influence in how we've structured accreditation and how we work with providers is absolutely pervasive. So I will just say, Kathy, to you, children in this country are better off because of your advocacy. The children in Hawaii are certainly better off because of your advocacy. Early childhood educators have increased status because of your advocacy. And certainly NACCE is better off because of your advocacy. So fly high, Kathy. We will miss you and we will carry on.
So true. Thank you, Rian. Elaine?
Aloha, everyone. Okay, getting through this. So Kathy was strong. She was smart. She's passionate about her work. She brought then HAEYC from almost no funds to a financially stable position. The last few years saw circumstances beyond her control impact Hawaii AUIC negatively, which was a pretty big source of stress. And speaking of control, she liked to be in control. She was politically akamai, which is smart. She would be constantly thinking about what would happen, about the big picture, as well as the on the ground impact of political decisions. She was also not interested in being politically correct, like Adele said. That was a good story. She had, when I emailed Maisie's office, I said that Kathy really enjoyed her sassy relationship with the senator, because it was. She wanted the best for young children and families. She wore her heart on her sleeve with those of us who had been with her in meetings with heavy sighs and eye rolls if she was not agreeing. And at those times, friends with young children, like Lonnie said, they would get a text asking for a recent photo so she could focus on that. She felt deeply for others. both love and she felt others' pain as well. She was considerate. She cared intensely and loved Mike and her sister and family and extended family. I heard about Karen's family over the years and grew up with those children. She was stubborn. It took a major heart attack to get her to stop smoking. She called me when she was able to speak. She's still in the hospital. And she's telling me, you know, they told me to stop smoking. And of course, I'm not stupid. I stopped. And I'm like, you're not stupid, but you stubborn, man. Because everybody tried up to there to get her to stop. But that was one of her qualities, too. She was constantly connecting with people. It's the evidence. She respected those who were honest with her. She had a sarcastic sense of humor. She was my friend. I miss her.
Elaine, thank you so much for the love that you shared in that tribute. It was really nice. William?
Bill Strader here from New England. And Kathy, the colors here are absolutely beautiful right now. There are all kinds of fall colors up here in the Berkshire Mountains. And that makes me think of you. But better yet, take a look at my tie. You have to see this. There they are. Plumeria, hibiscus, orchids. Ta-da, bird of paradise. From Hawaii, yay. And guess what? She and I over the years would laugh every time we would see each other because I love to tease her about the fact that, are you ready? We were the only two presidents, yes, hello, from the islands. I was president of Rhode Island, AEYC, and she was president of the Hawaiian Islands. So we would tease each other all the time about how our islands were doing and how our outreach was growing, the things that we were doing both politically and of course for me, some of you may know my interest in involvement have been long and still are related to future leaders in early childhood education. And of course I would poke her occasionally about Maui College, University of Hawaii, Honolulu Community College, and I would say, all right, come on, we got to get those kids off the island and over here to the United States so that they can also be part of the NAYC Student Interest Forum. So we did a lot of work together in promoting future leaders in early childhood, and she supported that initiative in Hawaii, which I thought was great as we continue to do that. So that's my brief little piece of saying every time we met for the affiliate work and meeting with the presidents from around the country, we would tease each other about the fact that we're both from the islands. And that's my statement. I love her. She was a hot ticket. And I'm wearing the tie just for her.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, this one's for Gabby. melts like lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you dare to, oh why can't I? Well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dream that you dare to, why, oh why can't I?
Beautiful words, music, and pictures. I'm going to take just a few seconds so that we can transition to a few minutes of laughter with Kathy and her friends. So we hope you enjoy the next video that we have to share with you. Ann Mitchell?
I am here. This is very hard to do. Knowing Kathy Murphy was a unique and rewarding experience, one of the most fun of my time with NAEYC. She was a character. She was a smoker, which is a rare thing among early childhood educators. She was a woman who could and did tell really raunchy, hilarious jokes. She was really fun to hang out with. She was a powerful and persistent and effective advocate for children and families. She did her work somewhat in the background, organizing and prodding and supporting others to stand up and advocate for what's good for children and families and those who care for and educate children. She would take the lead when it made sense. She could be relentless in a good way. She was one of the most effective advocates I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I loved her style, and I'll miss hearing her distinctive voice. I loved her very much. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you, Ann. Cindy Ballard. Okay, Nina.
Okay, can you hear me?
You can.
Hello, everybody. I feel so happy to see your faces and so sad. I'm so glad that we can all come together and be there for each other. My time with Kathy probably predates many of you. I moved to Hawaii from Los Angeles in 1991 or 92. And almost immediately after I got there, I met Kathy. And those of you who have talked about her being an advocate, she was. And her first advocacy with me was to try to recruit me to be the president of Hawaii AEYC. I don't know if there's some background noise here. Can you hear me? There's a truck outside. And when she asked me, I asked her a bit about the board because I had worked in board development, and I asked if there were committees. She said no. And I said, so tell me about the board meetings. Well, they're at least 8 hours a day. They're at least 8 hours, sometimes a whole weekend. So I said to her, well, I will consider becoming the president, but we're going to have to make some good trouble together. And that was the first thing we did together. And Elaine knows, and a lot of people on this call know, it wasn't an easy transition, but we got to having board committees and 2-hour board meetings. But Kathy, and at that time, Kathy was she was the president. She was a board member, and she was a preschool teacher. So I also got to hang out with her a little bit in her classroom and watch her with her children and watch her. She was one of the most talented, intuitive, effective early childhood teachers I've ever seen in action. And we became really good friends and bonded over our Polish, Russian, Jewish background. So we felt like culturally we were family. And then some of you who know me well know that my children were really challenged during their adolescence. And my daughter especially, who was adopted and was having real identity issues with the color of her skin being different than the color of the skin of our family, felt a complete kinship with Kathy because Kathy's skin was darker. And Kathy felt a kinship with Natalia and her personality. And she became a member of our family, and she became a support to my daughter and to me and to our family in a way that I will always be grateful for. And I haven't seen her in a long time. I was in Hawaii a few years ago, and we connected as if we'd never been apart. And I was so happy that she wasn't smoking anymore. So this is such a hard thing to let go of someone who has been part of your family and such a dear friend. So I'm gonna end with what I've been doing since I heard about her passing, which I started doing with my mother when she died many years ago, which is I invite her to come with me to things. So when I go to something like a demonstration or a concert or a meeting that I know Kathy would have something to say about or would enjoy, I just invite her and I say, Kathy, come along. And I encourage all of us to do that, and we can keep her close to us that way.
Thank you, Nina. That's beautiful. All right, we have a couple of people who really wanted to have an opportunity to share but weren't able to be with us. So they sent a brief video for us to share with you.
Hi, this is Kevin Carnes, president of Lakeshore Learning Materials, and I'm joining this group of friends, family, and advocates of Kathy Murphy. I've known Kathy for 15 years. She's an amazing person. I'll never forget my first trip to Honolulu when I met Kathy. How do you describe Kathy? Straightforward, honest, passionate, funny, sarcastic, and just fun to be around. And over the years, as we grew closer and closer, she was so helpful to me in my personal development, and also working so closely with Hawaii AEYC and all the amazing work that she did advocating for families and children in Hawaii. She was remarkable. And then over the years, seeing her at a conference, a national conference, and just making eye contact from her from 50 yards away, and we just both started laughing right away. And a big Hawaii hug and stories and laughter and dinners, and just an amazingly strong, wonderful person who I will miss dramatically. I know the field will certainly miss her dramatically, but hopefully she's in a better place. And something tells me that somewhere up in heaven, Kathy is straightening things out and making things happen. I have no doubt in my mind. So rest your soul, Kathy, and thank you for everything that you did for families, kids of Hawaii and beyond. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Lisa Murphy, and I was honored to be invited to share some thoughts about the passing of Kathy Murphy. I got to know Kathy quite a while ago, mostly when she would come and hang out at the after hours of the conference, when we would all affectionately hang around after and chat and share some time with Peter as he would hold court, and got to know her that way. I loved her laugh. I loved her smile. Eventually we did get to work together. She did invite me to come out to be a keynoter and a speaker at the Hawaii AEYC conference. And it was funny, I had previously been booked to do an event in Tokyo, and it was like literally like 3 days later, and she's like, oh, it'll be perfect. You'll be on your way home anyway. So just, stop in, do the gig, and then get get back on your merry way. And one of the things that I love about early childhood people, especially the group of people that I've met with my AEYC affiliation, is that everybody is ready to, do one more, right? One more article, one more chapter to a book, one more handshake, one more phone call to really remind somebody of a piece of advocacy. And it's a beautiful balance, I think, of one more early childhood related thing, and also occasionally one more glass of wine, one more round, one more laugh, one more hug. And while I'm not probably in the inner circle of her world, I do have very, very fond memories of how we would always joke over our last names being the same, and we occasionally would call ourselves the Murphy sisters. And to that, I give a nod to all of you, to her family. Thank you for allowing us to have a couple of minutes to share our fond memories of her. And for right now, we'll go and wish that we did have the opportunity for another hug, but we will take comfort in knowing what we did have together. Thank you very much.
So thank you. So right now, what we would like to do is, there may be some on this call who didn't feel that maybe they would be prepared to speak or want to speak, but we do want to provide the opportunity for you, if you feel moved, to come off mute and don't wait to be called on. This will be informal, and just share a brief memory or story if you would like to.
Hello, I'm Julie Colacao, and I didn't think I would be able to talk, but thank you for sharing all those stories about Kathy. I came back to the field 2 years ago, and she was the first one to welcome me back. And back in the day, I think I preceded all of you. I was a little baby when I met Kathy. She insisted I go back and get my bachelor's, and I didn't want to because I didn't have the money. And she was like, look, lady, you better just do it. You're going to be a leader in this field, so get on it. But what I wanted to share is Kathy, I got to share many hours of conversation throughout this pandemic. And I don't know that I would have been able to reopen the school without her. And then we were facing another shutdown. And I know you all know Kathy just based on the stories. And she said, you're not going to believe this. I emailed the mayor and told him to stop treating early childhood professionals like second-class citizens. And that just says it all. That's Kathy. And I'm going to miss her. And I'm the one that was pissed off. I'm still kind of pissed off that she's not here, because we weren't done. We were in the dreaming stage of what we were going to make happen. So contact me. Let's make it happen for her.
Definitely.
Hi, everyone else. I'll say a little something. I'm Mary Silva. I work with Kevin at Lakeshore as well, and been very fortunate to work with Kathy for 6 years now, supporting Hawaii. And before, I actually spoke to her maybe a few weeks ago about the conference coming up and what she wanted to do and how we can partner. And what stuck out to me and what she, I asked her, I was like, what, we went through the details, but what is it that you want? What is the outcome? Like, what do you really want for the conference? And she said, Mary, I just want to bring joy. I want to bring joy to the providers. I want to bring joy back, to the children. It's been such a tough year for everyone. And, it's just those things that just you remember. And of course, her personality, I love it. I love it when she always starts a sentence with, Mary, I'm stubborn, right? And then, and so, it always just made me laugh. But again, thank you for putting this beautiful tribute. And, we really do miss her. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Iris Saito. I'm an instructor at Honolulu Community College. When I was a preschool teacher 40-something years ago, Kathy Murphy was my practicum student in my 2-year-old classroom. How I first met Kathy, and it's so wonderful to see that a student of mine had risen to the position of executive director at the Hawaii AUIC, but I've stayed connected with her, you know, through professional relationships, and I will miss her. So anyway, thank you for the wonderful.
Thank you for planting that seed in her. What a legacy you have.
I'm gonna miss her.
Hi, this is Peter Pizzolongo.
This is Badgie Rankin from New Mexico, and I want to add I have so appreciated being here, listening to the stories, hearing from friends and from people I don't know. So it's great to be here in communion with Kathy. I love, Nina, your suggestion of inviting Kathy to go to meetings and with me and be there as a, you know, a spirit guide. And I just want to say that I so appreciated getting to know her and all the qualities, the fierceness, the stubbornness, the sarcasm that, you know, people talk about, and the love that she had for our field. So I just want to say that, Kathy, I miss you, and I'll bring you along to many projects. Thank you.
So we're going to be bringing her along, and she's going to be busier than ever. So Kathy.
Hi everyone, this is Su Chen Jenny. I'm from California. I not like many of you know her for 15 or 20 years. I only knew her maybe 2 or 3 years. And I met her in 2018 affiliate, meeting. I was the new affiliate advisory council member, and that time my job actually is the greeter. I need to greet people, but as an introvert, I didn't just go to people and then start to talk to people. But then I noticed Kathy, just like standing at the door, greet people, welcome people. She took my job. So, but it was quite amazing, such a great people skill. So I approached her, we started to talk, to chat, and then it just like we connect right away. She's the person I know truly embrace diversity. She would open her heart to stranger. She doesn't know this person, but she would just embrace this person, open her arm to anyone, which is incredible. So that night we went to the one of the party, and then we took the picture, and then because Kathy's so much fun, so I decided to put the video together. We had a great laugh together about the elf, Christmas, gift one. So that's really amazing. I love her. Even just 2 years, I feel like she is such an amazing person. And even though she's gone, but I believe her spirit stay with every one of us. Thank you.
And I want to make sure that I capture a message that we just received from Kathy's family, who shared with us that your words have captured everything that is true about Kathy. So they're with us, and they are appreciating all your memories and stories. So thank you for that. And once again, if anyone else would like to share a memory or story, we still have some time. Okay, I don't want to cut anyone off, but if anybody wants to speak, I'll give like 10 more seconds or so. And Holly, will you bring us home?
Thank you, Kim. Honestly, I believe we are home. Feels like home with all of you. It feels like what a sacred profession we're in, where we want to make a difference on earth for little children and for each other. And Kathy will always stand as a model for someone who had the courage and the fierceness and the humor and the persistence, no matter what. No matter what, she didn't give up. And yeah, I invited her to be with us today. She's with us, honey. She is with us. And so what I'm going to do is to thank Gwen and Kim in particular, everyone from Hawaii AEYC that worked so hard on this gathering, and every one of you that's here. And what I'm going to invite us to do now is say goodbye to Kathy and send love to each other at the same time. And so if you're willing to, at the count of 3, unmute, send big mahalo, big love to everybody and to Kathy in particular. So if you're ready, are you ready?
Yes,
ready. All right, honey. 1, 2, 3, unmute. Mute.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy.
Love you, Kathy.
Love
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Louise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you all.
Good to see everybody.
Good to see you
And
all.
if anybody wants to
Thank
visit
you.
Ecuador, come visit me.
I'm on it, girl.
You got it, Nina.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye,
Love
Louise.
you.
Hi, everybody.
Close out with one of Kathy's favorite songs as you wait for Glenn.
Maybe he doesn't have his camera.
What time you gotta be at work?
Toddler chasers, horse wranglers.
Well, we had to have one glitch, right? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Mahalo.